Yo, how we doing, my fellow bots? Longle here, and today I'm going to do sort of a review video, you could call it. Call it a 2-month... Has it only been 2 months? Oh my god. This game's only been out for 2 months. Somebody kill me now. Anyway, this is going to be my 2-month review of Modern Warfare. I want to talk about why it is the most noob-friendly Call of Duty we have ever seen, and why that's a bad thing. Why that makes it a bad Call of Duty game. So, I suppose I should start off by explaining that, because there's going to be some people who think that it's good that there's a bunch of noobs in this game, and while it is good that they are trying to increase their player base, going about it in the ways that they are is not a good thing. Making the hardcore Call of Duty fans suffer is not a way to grow your franchise. It might boost your numbers if you're catering to noobs that much, but in the long run, it's a bad business model. But when you have a fruity SJW beta male like Joe Seacock running the show, that's exactly what you're gonna get. I'm pretty sure he doesn't live in the real world, because in the real world, if you play a sport, if you play a game, whatever it is, if you go into business, the better you are, the more you succeed, and that's how it's supposed to go. You're not supposed to always be matched up with people at your skill level forever. When I first started playing Black Ops 4, I was trash at it, and yeah, I may have camped a little bit until I figured out the controls of a first-person shooter, but one, it didn't take me that long, and two, the whole game wasn't designed for me to play that way forever. There was ways to rush, there was ways to branch out into other play styles, and that's something that we don't see in Modern Warfare. It's just a big cesspool of mouth-breathing campers, and that's the Call of Duty that we're gonna have to deal with for the next 10 months. So now that that little intro is over, let me go ahead and start explaining every little detail of what's wrong with this game, how it caters to noobs, and it's just going to be a whole shit show on Modern Warfare. So if you're a big fanboy of Call of Duty, I suggest clicking off this video. It's going to be like my 2-day review video, but on steroids, so here we go. Alright, so in an effort to make this your one-stop shop for all of Modern Warfare's bullshit, I put out a community post asking my subs to throw some ideas at me, so big shout out to everybody who commented on that post and gave me some more ideas. I did my best to compile this massive list in a chronological order that makes sense to talk about going from point to point, but because this list is so massive, this video may end up a bit rambly. So where are we going to start? Let's start with something you guys haven't heard before, and that's the challenges. Yes, everything, even down to the gun challenges in this game, make it more noob friendly. Me and Hummus Thunder were talking last night, and we're like, why isn't there any challenges for rushers? Like, how about get a kill shortly after sprinting? Not get a crouch kill, get mounting kills, get hip fire kills, just spray and pray, just mount your gun, just crouch around corners. Like, it's so fucking stupid, the challenges in this game. Like, I have a lot of friends who don't like playing like that, but because they're going for Damascus, they have to play like that. And everybody's going for camos in this game because there's nothing else to fucking do. You can't play the game to get kill streaks, you can't play the game to go 80-2, you just have to grind camos. So the whole lobby is just crouch walking and mounting their guns, and oh my god, it's cancer. And I suppose since we're on the topic of how people move in this game, or don't move in this game, I'll go ahead and talk about the rest of our movement issues. 1. Sprint out times. Make the super sprint out time the same as the regular sprint out time, and make the regular sprint out time almost instant like you have Gung Ho on, at least in pubs. You can change that for competitive, but in pubs, we need to be able to rush. And then the mounting thing, I kind of already talked about. Mounting should not even be in this game. If you do mount in this game, I actually don't really mind the mounting mechanic. I just don't like how it doesn't have a counter. But the only way to give the mounting a counter would be to make it so when people do mount, they're more exposed and easier to shoot. It wouldn't make sense from a realistic point of view, but it would at least balance it. There's no reason that you should be able to mount your gun, get 0 recoil, and have none of your body exposed. Like, that is a problem in this game by far. What they could do is make it so you can only mount on walls on the sides of them, you know, where your body's still exposed, because that's not a big deal. A lot of times when I'm mounting around a corner, I get killed anyway. But the top mounting head glitch, that needs to go. Jumping and sliding could both use a buff. I know people hate that Black Ops 4 was so slidey and jumpy and it was too much like Black Ops 3, but the truth is, the more advanced the movement is, the higher the skill gap, because targets are harder to shoot. And I suppose we can roll that right into TTK. Hey, this is easier than I thought it was gonna be. I thought I'd have to go point by point. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing now and keep throwing the points up on the screen as I go across them and just keep talking in a straight line. So now let's go to TTK. I've made plenty of videos on this, and The TTK in this game is too fast after you consider how trash the netcode is and all that. The connection, the hit detection is just god awful. So the time to kill could definitely be increased, and that would increase the skill gap. The only people who think that faster times to kill increases the skill gap are the same people who think that there's a higher skill gap in hardcore than core, and I'm not even going to get into that in this video. There's a lower overall skill gap in hardcore than core, and that's why the pros don't play hardcore. Hint hint. So there's no need to talk about that anymore. We'll go ahead and move on to the next thing, and that would be profile based matchmaking and skill based matchmaking. I did touch on skill based matchmaking a little bit ago, but skill based matchmaking decreases the skill gap between players in a game. That's pretty obvious. If you're getting matched with people who are exactly your skill all the time, there's no reward for getting better at the game. Part of the draw to Call of Duty was that when you did really good, you would get your kill streaks. But now, when you do really good, you just get harder competition that prevents you from getting your kill streaks. So, skill-based matchmaking is an oxymoron when it comes to pubs. It doesn't need to be there. Make a league playlist like Black Ops 4 did and call it a fucking day. And then profile-based matchmaking, I'm just gonna go ahead and put a little time card up on this video of my other video talking about profile-based matchmaking. But I will briefly tell you that it all has to do with an Activision patent where they actually make your hitboxes smaller on players if you're doing good at the game. If you're a good player, they will capture that data live if you have really good accuracy, and they will just make the hitboxes on characters a bit smaller for you to give that player an advantage to kill you. And that is just the most fucked up thing I've ever heard of, and I don't think there's really any arguing that it's in this game. If you're a half decent player, you've experienced quote unquote netcode, which turns out may actually be more of profile based matchmaking, even though we are playing on like 12 hertz servers most of the time. So go ahead and check that box too. That's another major problem with this game. And now I'm not quite sure where to fit this next point in the video, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in right here randomly, and that's kill streaks. I just want to mention that kill streaks are more noob friendly than score streaks because it's harder to capture an objective and be out in the open and get enough points for a kill streak, but it's pretty freaking easy to run shrapnel, restock claymores, and camp in a building to get your kills for kill streaks. And we shouldn't have to use a perk slot to switch to score streaks. I would be okay if they just let us switch from back and forth without using up any slots. Just make like another feature like a field upgrade. You can choose score streaks or kill streaks. Just do it that way. But I know they won't because that wouldn't cater to noobs. What does cater to noobs is giving them safe spaces and a bunch of claymores so they can just camp for their kill streaks. And I called all of this months before the game came out. Everybody was praising kill streaks over score streaks, and I said that's gonna make the game more campy. People have no reason to play the objectives in this game. None at all. Unless you're running that stupid point man perk, that's just a waste of a perk slot. And that leads me into the maps. Joe Csot said himself that they purposely made their maps very porous. Lots of windows, lots of holes for people to hide, lots of places to get shot from if you're rushing out in the open like a quote-unquote idiot. If you're not one of these mouth-breathing adapters, then you're dying by the mouth-breathing adapters who are sitting in windows and everything like that. The maps in this game totally 100% cater to noobs. I've mentioned this in many videos before, just like I've mentioned the minimap, or lack thereof. Taking the minimap out of this game in the beta was a telltale sign that these developers had no clue what they were doing. Not a single fucking clue what they were doing when they were designing this game. The multiplayer, that is. I guess the campaign is okay and all that, but for the multiplayer, Joe Csot has no idea what he's doing. The minimap not only does not show red dots, but it's smaller than Black Ops 4's. Black Ops 4 has this huge minimap with red dots on it anytime anybody shoots, so there's no camping. And Ghost, I'll go ahead and throw that in here too. Black Ops 4 Ghost only works when you're moving, so there's all these red dots, right? And that's information. Information that good players who have been playing Black Ops 4 for a long time can use. I know when the spawns are going to flip in KC every single time. If my character in the game was blindfolded and all I could see was the minimap, I could still call a spawn flip in my sleep. That's just because of experience. Does that make it harder for new players to get out of the spawns? Yes. Well, then they need to learn how to read the minimap like I've spent 20 some days on the game doing. Now insert Modern Warfare, and they're always off the radar unless you get a UAV, and if you get a UAV and they're wearing Ghost sitting in a corner, well, too bad. I guess we're regressing back to 2010 where Ghost works all the time now. How is there any skill involved in running Ghost and sitting in one spot waiting for someone to walk through the door? It's not called tactical, it's called I'm a fucking bot. Whew, 10 minutes in and I'm probably halfway done. I told you guys I wanted to make a full list of everything wrong with this game, and that's what's going on right now. So if anybody needs a quick break, feel free to go join my Discord, follow me on Twitter and Twitch, and slap a like on this video. Now let's continue. Okay, now on to the spawns. Shipment. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the spawns in Shipment are the same as the spawns on any other map. They're just exacerbated by the sheer smallness of that map. The spawns on Shoot House have been worked over how many times now, but yet I still spawn right in front of people on Shoot House and any other map if people get in the right positions. A lot of the bigger maps, it's just less common for it to happen. But the spawn system in this game as a whole is completely garbage, designed for more random chaos, and designed to lower the skill gap in general. And I guess gameplay-wise, that does pretty much wrap up everything that I could think of, so if I missed anything, definitely let me know down in the comments what else goes on in this game that is just totally designed to cater to noobs. But since I am pointing out every single problem within Modern Warfare, I do want to talk about Infinity Ward's incompetence in general and other issues that they've been leaving out of the game. Apparently they have this Apple-like mindset where they remove features and call it innovation. And they also do things in patch notes. They nerf guns and add things like player collision, and they don't put it in the patch notes due to sheer incompetence or maybe just deception in general. They don't want people to know what they're doing. But either way, I'm going to go ahead and start here because this one kind of pisses me off due to Joe Seacock's response, and that's vote to skip. He said in an interview that they don't have vote to skip in this game because it causes players to leave the lobby. Well then how come every time I get forced into a match on Piccadilly, the lobby's fucking empty? People are going to leave the match if they don't like the map no matter what, so you might as well make it so they can leave before the game even starts. That would actually leave the in-game lobbies more populated, you dumbass. And point number 2, they removed the prestiging system and they reset our levels every season. So you don't actually get this big level that you grinded for that says, hey, you know, like in Black Ops 4, I'm level 1000. I grinded all these levels. Now in the game, people have no idea what level you are. They don't really know your skill because everybody's the same level. Everybody has the same KDs on the leaderboard. And I think it's funny. I think it's really funny that they want everybody to have the same level, so they reset everybody. It's just... everybody has to be mediocre and just buy their microtransactions and they're happy. I think that's stupid. There's not really any levels to grind out in this game. And what else did they remove? Oh yes, they also removed theater from the game and leave it out. Why? Who the fuck knows, but it was a really useful feature for making montages that's been in Call of Duty for a really long time, but now it's not in this game for literally no reason. And I know we can create classes on the fly in game, but why do we only have 5 create a class slots? I would rather have 10 create a class slots than be able to change my gun in game, to be honest, because I think there's more skill in that. If you're not prepared going into a match, that's your fault, you know, like you shouldn't just be able to copy the other person's class or make a new class on the fly. I mean, it is nice, but it does decrease the skill gap. I mean, there's times where I've used it, yeah, especially when you're unlocking attachments within the game, like, oh, I unlocked an attachment, I'm gonna put it on right now. That's kind of cool. But like copying people's classes and stuff like that, that's stupid. And there is a rumor that they're bringing more create a class slats into the game and people are all praising them for that, but it's like we should have had more to start with. It doesn't make any sense. You shouldn't be rewarded for leaving a feature out of the game that could have easily been implemented at launch, and then you bring it back just for the hype. That's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, I mean, they just remove everything that the community really wants, just like they removed Shipment, they removed Shoot House, they brought it back after the backlash, and Shipment's probably going to come back after the backlash. I think they're just doing it all for the hype, but either way, all of this does sum up to them being very incompetent developers. I mean, the community manager doesn't even communicate, Joe Seasot doesn't even play his own game, and he doesn't communicate. He's more worried about World of Tanks than new Modern Warfare updates. It's just a fucking clown show over there at Infinity Ward. I'm pretty sure they're all just huffing glue off their desks while they play Ring Around the Rosie all day and suck each other up.